For years, the old sod of RFK Stadium was a home in the heart of Washington, D.C. for men like Bob Thomas, Joe Rutkins, and Mean Johnny Paylock, heroes of the SOS years when the same old Skins were traditionally a 5-9 football team. Never in memory had there been a day like this in 1972, when the now mighty Washington Redskins would face the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs of the National Football Conference. It was a fine matchup between two newly minted NFC powers, with Washington's disciplined professionals favored to prevail against a brutal force of Green Bay Packers. Early in the game, the roughhouse Packers struck a telling blow when number 17, Billy Kilmer, was blasted into silence. Seen from another angle in slow motion, the force of the blow is apparent. And as Kilmer lay still on the old sod of RFK Stadium, 50,000 stood in hushed concern. Washington had already lost one quarterback this year, the great Sonny Jurgensen, out for the season. The loss of Billy Kilmer would be insurmountable. It's impossible to measure the value of this rag-arm quarterback. Technically, his quick feet make him a good mechanic. Emotionally, his brawling heart pumps valor all over a football field. But more than that, he is just simply a good guy. And that is the rare quality which makes Billy Kilmer special. It's an example of his kind of leadership that he did not miss a play of this crucial game. For on Washington's next offensive series, Kilmer once again faced the Packers' mighty challenge. But through the early going, two excellent defenses dominated play. Just as Kilmer and the Redskins were halted, so Scott Hunter and the Packers were throttled. But midway through the second period, Scott Hunter's passes began to find the mark. A 23-yard sideline pattern to number 22, John Staggers, moved the Packers deep into Redskin territory, but the drive failed at the 10, and Chester Marco broke the scoreless tie. Number 28, Herb Mulkey, returned the ensuing kickoff to the Washington 40. And in this defensive battle, his 42-yard return would stand as the longest gain of the day. Working from good field position, Kilmer then burned the Packers with a 32-yard rope to Roy Jefferson, who'd gotten only a step inside Willie Buchanan on a post pattern. In spite of their hard-nosed defense, the Green Bay Packers left the field slightly stunned to try to regroup at the half. And for a brief moment, as the real combatants were replaced by toy soldiers, the Redskin fans could savor their 10-3 lead. Beginning the second half, the same defensive pattern of the game was reestablished, and the Redskins' 7-point lead began to loom larger. The Redskins' thinking was to meet the thrusts of number 36, MacArthur Lane, and number 42, John Brockington, at the point of attack. Foregoing the popular deep zone defenses, the Redskins employed old-fashioned hard-nosed coverage. Often these defenses would isolate tiny Pat Fisher, number 37, in front of one of Green Bay's mighty backs. And when these mismatches occurred, the paper-thin Pat Fisher showed what wonders can be worked with courage and a lot of finesse. Time and time again, Fisher stood between Brockington or Lane and a long gainer, and always he cut them down hard. In fact, the crazed camel himself, John Brockington, was limited to 9 yards gained in 13 tries, while MacArthur Lane could account for only 56. The Packer air game was not strong enough to force Washington out of their man-to-man coverage, and the entire Green Bay offense was stifled. Meanwhile, with his longest gain 13 yards, number 43 Larry Brown collected 101 yards in 25 tries. And Billy Kilmer threw just enough to maneuver the Redskins into field goal position. In the fourth period, Kurt Knight's last field goal from 46 yards out was his longest as he iced the Redskins' playoff victory, making the final score Washington 16, Green Bay 3. And how sweet it was for all those fans who remembered Gene Brito, Don Bossler, Vince Bermudo, and even Claude Crabb. But this is a new age in Washington, and the future is now. To ride with George Allen and all his over-the-hill Ramskins who blended with Pat Fisher, Larry Brown, Charlie Haraway, Lynn Hawes, and others who have now won fame without ever losing honor. And after the 21st victory since George Allen's arrival in the Washington locker room, there would be 3 more cheers for the Redskins.